The key slipped from the rafters like a venomous snake uncoiling in the dim attic light, landing with a metallic clink that echoed through Alex's bones. He froze, heart slamming against his ribs, as dust motes danced around the antique brass object now glinting mockingly at his feet, engraved with swirling initials that looked too familiar, too forbidden. In that split second, as his fingers brushed its cold surface, Alex knew. This wasn't just a key. It was the jagged edge of a truth his family had chained away for generations. San Francisco's fog clung to the Victorian house like a shroud, the kind of morning where the city felt more ghost than alive. Alex Harper, 22 and still navigating the choppy waters of his own identity, had come home from college for what was supposed to be a quick weekend to help his mom sort through his late grandfather's things. Elias Harper had died 3 months ago, a quiet man whose stern gaze in family photos always seemed to pierce right through Alex's secrets. The attic was a tomb of forgotten relics, yellowed letters, cracked porcelain, and boxes of moth-eaten clothes that smelled of pipe tobacco and regret. Alex wasn't sure why he'd volunteered for this chore. Maybe it was guilt, or maybe it was the gnawing ache of never truly knowing the man who'd raised his father with an iron fist. He wiped sweat from his brow, the summer heat trapped under the slanted roof turning the air thick. That's when the key fell. He picked it up, turning it over in his palm. The initials, YH and JM, were etched in elegant cursive, half-worn by time. Elias Harper. But JM? No one in the family went by those letters. A chill slithered down his spine, unrelated to the draft sneaking through the eaves. Alex pocketed the key, his mind racing. Downstairs, his mom, Lydia, was humming in the kitchen, oblivious to the storm brewing above her. By afternoon, curiosity clawed at him like an itch he couldn't ignore. He slipped away from the unpacking, key burning a hole in his jeans. The house was old, built in the 1890s during the gold rush boom, with hidden nooks that whispered of prohibition speakeasies and wartime secrets. Alex had always imagined it held more than dusty heirlooms, maybe a fortune or a scandal. He started in the basement, fumbling with old trunks, but nothing fit. The study? Too obvious, the desk already rifled through by lawyers. Frustration built as he paced the creaky floors, the key's weight a constant taunt. It was dusk when he noticed the faint seam in the hallway wall behind a faded landscape painting. A door? No, just paneling, or so he'd thought all his life. Heart pounding, he pressed, and with a groan like a dying breath, a narrow panel swung inward on hidden hinges. Stairs descended into darkness, steep and narrow, leading to what must have been a root cellar or wine storage, long sealed off. The air that wafted up was musty, laced with something metallic. Old paper? Ink. Alex flicked on his phone's flashlight, the beam cutting through cobwebs like a knife. Each step down felt like betrayal, the wood protesting under his sneakers. At the bottom, a small room no bigger than a walk-in closet materialized from the shadows. Bare bulb dangling from a cord, unlit. Shelves lined the walls, crammed with leather-bound journals, photographs in tarnished frames, and a single wooden desk scarred by years. In the center, a locked trunk squatted like a sentinel. The key fit perfectly, turning with a click that reverberated in his chest. Inside, stacks of letters tied with faded ribbon, yellowed newspaper clippings, and a photo album that looked untouched since the 1950s. Alex sank to the floor, knees weak, and opened the album first. Grainy black and white images stared back. Elias, young and dashing in a navy uniform, arms slung around a man with sharp features and a mischievous grin. J.M. Jack Monroe, the name scrawled on the back in Elias's precise hand. They were laughing, bodies close in a way that spoke volumes, frozen in a moment of unguarded joy. Alex's breath hitched. His grandfather, the pillar of conservative values, the man who'd preached family duty and traditional love at every Thanksgiving. Gay? The realization crashed over him like a wave, pulling him under. He rifled through the letters next, hands trembling. Pages filled with Elias's words to Jack, professions of love that burned the page, descriptions of stolen nights in wartime barracks, dreams of a life together once the world stopped hating. My darling Jack, one began. Every shell that whistles overhead reminds me how fragile this is, but your letters are my anchor. I ache for the day we can walk hand in hand without fear. Tears blurred Alex's vision. This was his family, hidden in plain sight, a love story smothered by shame. But the clippings told a darker tale. Headlines from 1956. Local man vanishes amid scandal. Jack Monroe, accused of immoral conduct after a raid on a Greenwich Village bar. Elias's name nowhere, but the dates aligned with a sudden move to San Francisco. A police report, faded but legible. Jack arrested, then released, only to disappear. Suicide? Flight? The ambiguity gnawed Alex. And then, a final letter from Jack, undated. Elias, if you're reading this, I've gone where the shadows can't touch us. Forgive me, but I can't live half a life. Remember the lighthouse, our promise. The lighthouse. Alex knew it. The old Point Reyes beacon, where family legend said Elias proposed to Grandma Margaret. A lie. Nausea roiled in his gut. All those years of his own hidden crushes, the furtive glances at boys in high school, the coming out to his mom last year that had been met with awkward hugs, but no real understanding. Echoes of this buried pain. Elias must have married Margaret out of desperation, built a facade to survive McCarthy-era purges and small-town bigotry. Alex's father, born a year later, raised in silence. Now, Alex clutched the evidence, the room closing in. What did this mean for him? For the family? He emerged hours later, documents bundled under his shirt, the panel clicking shut behind him. Lydia was asleep, the house silent save for the distant foghorn. In his childhood bedroom, posters of indie bands peeling at the edges. Alex spread the papers on the bed. Sleep evaded him, mind spinning webs of what-ifs. By dawn, resolve hardened. He had to know more. Jack Monroe alive? Dead? The internet yielded scraps, a missing persons file, urban legends of a ghost haunting the lighthouse. But one lead glowed. A name in the letters, a mutual friend, Daniel Reese, now in his 80s, living in Oakland. Alex drove across the bay that morning, the Golden Gate shrouded in mist, radio humming old jazz that felt too on the nose. Oakland's hills were alive with murals and coffee shops, a far cry from the Haight-Ashbury haze of his youth. Daniel's bungalow was a riot of succulents and wind chimes, the door answered by a frail man with Elias's eyes, sharp, knowing. "You look like him," Daniel said after Alex's halting explanation, ushering him into a sunlit living room cluttered with books on queer history. No surprise, just a sad smile. Elias's boy? Or his boy's boy? Grandson, Alex whispered, pulling out the photo. Daniel's fingers traced Jack's face, eyes misting. Beautiful devils, those two. Met in 42, boot camp in San Diego. War-made outcasts of us all, easier to love in foxholes. He brewed tea, voice weaving the tale like smoke. Jack, a Brooklyn artist with a laugh that disarmed, Elias the stoic farm boy from Iowa. Their love bloomed fierce, hidden in coded letters and midnight rendezvous. Post-war, they tried for normalcy in the village, but the lavender scare crushed dreams. Jobs lost, friends vanished. The raid that night, cops dragging patrons, Jack beaten in the alley after. He never recovered, Daniel said softly. Elias begged him to run west, start over. But Jack, he carried the bruises inside. That letter you found. He sailed from the lighthouse at dawn, boat stolen from the harbor. Body washed up weeks later, ruled accident. Elias never forgave himself. Alex's throat tightened. Why hide it? The room, the trunk. Survival, lad. Elias burned what he could, kept the rest to remember. Told me once, if my blood carries this, let it be with truth, even if buried. Daniel paused, studying Alex. And you? Wearing the same mask? The question hung, raw. Alex nodded, words tumbling out. His ex, the college boyfriend who'd ghosted after coming out, went public. The family dinners where dad's jokes about real men cut deep. Daniel listened, then pressed a book into his hands. The Velvet Closet, Memoirs of Wartime Lovers. Read. And talk to Lydia. She's stronger than Elias ever was. Back home, the house felt heavier, walls echoing unspoken grief. Lydia found him in the kitchen that evening, eyes red from crying over the letters. What's wrong, honey? Her voice, warm as chamomile. He started slow, the key, the room, then the flood, Elias and Jack. Lydia's face crumpled, Not shock, but recognition. I knew. Pieces. Your grandmother confessed on her deathbed. She loved him, but knew his heart was elsewhere. Said it was her gift to let him mourn in peace. Why didn't you tell me? Alex's voice cracked. Fear, Alex. Like always. But you're not him. You're out, proud. This. She touched the photo. It's your inheritance. Use it to heal, not hide. That night, sleep brought dreams of lighthouses and laughing ghosts. Morning brought a call from his father, Mark, in Seattle. Routine check-in turned tense when Alex hinted at family history. Dad, Grandpa wasn't who he thought. Drop it, son. Some stones best left unturned. Click. The dismissal stung, a fresh wound. Alex dove deeper, scanning clippings into his laptop, joining online forums for queer genealogy. A user at Baghost88 messaged privately, "That lighthouse? I dive there. Artifacts sometimes surface. Meet. Suspicion warred with hope." They arranged coffee in the Castro, rainbow flags fluttering like defiant banners. Riley Kane arrived 10 minutes late, wetsuit tan lines peeking from his flannel shirt, blue eyes sharp under tousled blonde hair. 25, marine biologist by day, history buff by night. Saw your post. Jack Monroe, legend around here. Divers call him the lost lover. Found his sketchbook last summer, washed up after a storm. Alex's pulse raced. Riley slid a waterproof pouch across the table. Pages of charcoal drawings. Elias's profile, their hands intertwined. A lighthouse under stormy skies. This one signed for E. Forever. Over lattes, stories flowed. Riley's own coming out at 18, disowned briefly by fishermen folks in Monterey, now mending bridges. The sea gives back what we lose, he said, grin crooked. Like truths. Attraction sparked, subtle, a brush of knees under the table, shared laughs over bad puns. But Alex pulled back, old fears whispering. Elias's tragedy loomed, love as a casualty of hate. Weeks blurred. Alex returned to Berkeley, classes a blur, but weekends pulled him back to the city. He and Riley explored, diving the bay's cold waters, unearthing rusted dog tags, etched J.M. Lydia warm to the finds, even hosting Riley for dinner, her meatloaf a peace offering. Mark remained distant, text curt, "Don't stir ghosts." Then, the twist, a letter in the trunk Alex had missed, tucked in a false bottom. From Margaret to Elias, 1960. I saw you with him again, at the pier. If you won't leave, neither will I. But our son deserves better than lies. Margaret knew? And him, not Jack, gone by then. Another? Panic surged. Alex confronted Lydia. Grandma knew about someone else? She paled. After Jack. Elias tried. Daniel introduced him to Theo, a teacher. Brief, passionate. But Theo moved east, married a woman to fit in. Margaret walked in on a goodbye, Theo's hand on Elias's cheek. She forgave, but it broke something. Theo. Alex scoured records. Theodore Lang, deceased 1985, obituary bland. Widower, no mention of love's lost. But a son, Nathan Lang, living in Portland. Alex's uncle, half-brother to his dad. The drive north was storm-lashed, wipers slashing rain. Nathan, 60-something, answered the door in a cluttered Craftsman, eyes widening at the letter Alex thrust forward. Elias? God, I haven't thought. You knew? Alex demanded. Nathan sighed, inviting him in. Tea steaming, truth poured. Theo's affair with Elias, passionate, but doomed. Nathan, Theo's son from a prior marriage, pieced it together young. His dad's distant stares at old photos. He never spoke, but I found letters. Elias was the one who got away. And you? Part of this family. Nathan laughed bitterly. Blood? No. But queer? Yes. Came out in the 80s. AIDS crisis. Lost friends. Hid from colleagues. Your grandpa reached out once, anonymously, after my dad died. We're kin in ways that matter. Kin. The word lodged in Alex's chest. Nathan showed him a box. More photos, Elias and Theo at a hidden queer bar in the Tenderloin, 1958. Joy amid fear. But a note from Elias. Theo, if Nathan ever asks, tell him I loved his father enough to let go. Protect him from this world's knives. Alex left with hugs and promises, Portland's lights blurring in tears. Back home, Riley waited, takeout Chinese steaming on the counter. Rough road. Worth it. Alex pulled him close. First real kiss tentative, then fierce, tasting salt and possibility. No ghosts, just now. But Mark called that night, voice steel. Heard from Nathan. You're digging up filth. Stop, or don't come home for Christmas. The ultimatum sliced deep. Alex hung up, rage boiling. Prejudice, alive and kicking in his own blood. Riley's apartment overlooked the Embarcadero, ferries cutting wakes in the bay like silver arrows. They spent the evening tangled in conversation, not limbs. Riley's rule: build the heart first, sharing stories of first heartbreaks. Alex confessed his college ex, Tyler, who'd bolted after a leaked photo, leaving whispers in dorm halls. Riley nodded. His own tale of a high school coach who prayed then preached denial. Hate's a cycle, Riley said, fingers tracing Alex's palm. Break it. Sleep came fitful, dreams of keys unlocking chains. Morning brought resolve. Face mark head on. Alex drove to the airport, boarding a flight to Seattle under gray skies. The city sprawled wet and indifferent, Pike Place fishmongers calling like echoes of normalcy. Mark met him at baggage, hug stiff, eyes avoiding. The ferry to Bainbridge was their battlefield, salt wind whipping words. Dad, this isn't filth. It's us. Grandpa loved a man like I do. Mark gripped the rail, knuckles white. He was my father. Taught me to provide, protect. This. Revisionism hurts. It's truth, Alex shot back. Hiding it hurts more. Remember his rages? The silences? That was the pain eating him. A beat, then Mark's voice cracked. I found a letter once as a kid. Burned it. Thought it'd protect you. Protect. The word twisted like the key. They walked the island trails in silence, pines whispering judgments. At a bench overlooking the sound, Mark broke. Your mom told me, after you came out. I failed you, scared of losing the son I knew. Alex's chest ached. You won't. Just. See me. See him. Reconciliation was tentative, a shared coffee laced with promises. Mark pocketed a photo of Elias and Jack. I'll try. Back in the Bay, momentum built. Alex organized a Harper Legacy night at a Castro community center, queer elders sharing stories, Riley handling projections of the photos. Daniel spoke, voice quavering. We were pioneers in shadows. Now light the way. Lydia beamed from the front row, Nathan zooming in from Portland. Even Mark texted support. But conflict brewed. A local blogger, Harlan Voss, conservative firebrand with a podcast railing against revisionist history, caught wind. His post went viral. Harper family digs up dirt to push agenda, from attic trash to Castro propaganda. Trolls swarmed Alex's socials, slurs, death threats, doxing attempts. Riley's workplace got calls, his research grant questioned. Fear crept in, cold as fog. We stop? Riley asked, pacing his kitchen. No. Alex's jaw set. This is the fight Elias couldn't win. The backlash peaked at a city council meeting on historic preservation. Voss testifying against glorifying deviance in public spaces, citing the house as a straight heritage site. Alex countered, voice steady. Heritage includes all threads: love, loss, resilience. Seal it again, and we repeat the graves. Applause rippled, but Voss's glare promised war. That night, driving home, tires screeched. A black SUV rammed them off the road into a guardrail. Airbags deployed, world spinning. Riley's hand found his amid the smoke. You okay? Shaken, bruised, they limped to the ER. Cops dismissed it as road rage, but Alex saw the plate, traced to a Voss associate. Escalation. Lydia insisted they stay with her, the Victorian a fortress now. Nathan arrived, bearing legal aid contacts. Theo taught me. Fight smart, not alone. In the attic, ironic sanctuary, Alex pored over journals anew. Elias's words leaped. Entries on Jack's accident, guilt raw. Theo's goodbye, bittersweet. But a late one, 1975. Mark comes home soon from college. Pray he never carries this burden. Unless he chooses it. Choice. Alex wept. Elias hoped for freedom, even in hiding. Riley, nursing a sprained wrist, pulled him close. We're choosing every day. Their bond deepened, not in grand gestures, but quiet ones. Morning runs along Ocean Beach, waves erasing footprints. Late nights decoding Elias's coded poems, Riley's laugh breaking tension. Love, tentative, bloomed amid thorns. Then, the high-stakes twist, a package arrived, anonymous, postmarked Seattle. Inside, a locket, engraved JM and EH, containing twin photos, Jack and Elias, backs pressed. Note: truth has teeth. Back off, or family feels it. Mark's handwriting? No, analysis showed otherwise. Voss. Paranoia gripped. Alex confronted Mark via video. Dad. Not me, son. But I talked to old friends. One warned me. Voss's dad was a cop in the 50s raid. Personal grudge. Legacy of hate. Generational. Alex's blood ran cold. They went public. Press conference at the center. Alex unveiling the trunk's contents. This is our story. Not shame, but strength. Media frenzy. SF Chronicle feature. NPR interview. Voss countered with smears, but cracks showed. His own closet skeleton unearthed by activists. A 90s affair. Hushed payout. Climax brewed at the lighthouse. Alex, Riley, Lydia, Nathan, Daniel, a queer council, gathered at Point Reyes under harvest moon. Waves crashed like applause as they scattered Jack's ashes, actually sand from the beach, symbolic release. Daniel read the promise letter, voice carrying, shadows lift. But Voss appeared, flanked by goons, face twisted. This ends now. That land's marked for development. My development. Bluff? No. Papers waived. Eminent domain petition, citing historical irrelevance. Heart sinking, Alex realized. The room, the truths, threatened Voss's empire. Confrontation ignited. Irrelevant. This is America, love's fight. Alex roared, wind tearing words. Voss sneered. Fairy tales don't build condos. Riley stepped forward, phone live streaming. But they build us. Cops arrived. Called by Lydia, Voss cuffed for threats, his empire teetering. In the aftermath, dawn broke golden. The petition failed, house preserved as a queer history site. Mark flew down, embracing all. Proud of you, son. Alex and Riley, hand in hand on the cliff, watched seals bark below. Opened a door, Alex murmured. Riley grinned. To everything. Yet, one final surprise. In the trunk, overlooked, a will, Elias's, dated last year. To my grandson Alex, the key to our hearts. Live loud, tears fell, but joy rose. The cycle broken, love unchained. Months wove into a fragile peace, the Victorian house now a beacon. Tours booked, a plaque gleaming. Harper Monroe legacy. Love endures. Alex balanced it with grad school applications, queer-lit seminars fueling essays on hidden narratives. Riley's dives yielded more, a submerged locket twin to the threatening one, engraved same, but inside, a modern note. Forgive the drama, Mark. Had to test your steel. Dad's olive branch, clumsy but real. Laughter bubbled at family dinner, Mark toasting to ghosts who guide. But undercurrents stirred. Nathan, ever the archivist, uncovered a bombshell in Theo's effects. A journal entry, 1959. Elias confessed a child, not mine, but Jack's. Hidden away, adopted out. A daughter, born in secret. A sister? Alex's aunt, unknown. Shock rippled. Lydia gasped. Margaret mentioned a ward once sent east. But the search began, digital trails faint. Adoption records sealed, but a name surfaced. Evelyn Evie Harlow, now 65, in Chicago. Artist, queer icon, her abstracts gracing galleries. Alex's email trembled. I think your family. Elias was my grandfather. Reply swift. Knew it. Jack's fire in your words. Coffee. Chicago winds howled off Lake Michigan as Alex landed, Riley in tow. No solo adventures. Evie waited at O'Hare, silver hair cropped punk, eyes Jack's, mischievous. Hugs fierce, no questions. Her studio loft smelled of turpentine and revolution, walls alive with canvases of turbulent seas, lovers entwined in abstraction. Over bourbon, Jack's vice, she spilled. Born in a wartime clinic, Jack fleeing the raid with her bundled, placing her with cousins in Ohio. He wrote monthly, coded as Aunt's Tales. Died when I was 5, drowning, they said. But I felt him leave. Elias's role? Visited once, brought toys, whispered your dad was a hero. Then silence, McCarthy's shadow. Tears mingled with rage. Why not claim you? Survival. But he left this. Evie handed a sketch, Jack's hand. A baby in arms, lighthouse horizon. For you. Back west. Evie integrated seamlessly. Thanksgiving at the house, her stories bridging eras. Jack loved jazz, danced like rain. Mark thawed, sharing Navy yarns. Lydia baked Evie's favorites, pierogies from Theo's Polish roots. But tension simmered in Alex's heart. Riley noticed, during a quiet hike in Muir Woods, redwoods towering like silent judges. What's eating you? Evie. She's proof love leaves marks. But what if mine scars? Alex's voice wavered. His feelings for Riley, deep, uncharted, terrified. Past ghosts, Tyler's abandonment, whispers of too much drama. Riley stopped, cupping his face. Scars tell stories. Yours? Beautiful. The kiss there, amid ancient bark, sealed something profound. No rush, just promise. They took it slow, dates to indie films, beach bonfires where Riley sketched dives. Alex read Elias's poems aloud. Then, conflict crested. Voss, out on bail, sued for defamation, claiming the propaganda tanked his deals. Courtroom and civic center buzzed. Alex on stand, voice steady. Truth isn't slander. It's reclamation. Voss's cross. You profit from lies, boy. That key? Planted hoax. Gasps. Alex's lawyer countered with forensics. Keys patina authentic, 1940s brass. But the accusation lingered, poisoning air. Worse, anonymous emails to Evie, dredging her adoption, bastard child of perverts. She brushed it off, haters recycle. But Alex saw cracks. Nights painting furiously, colors bruised. Riley pulled strings, dive buddies and law enforcement tracing IPs to Voss's circle. Evidence mounted, but stress frayed edges. One night, post-hearing, Alex snapped at Riley over dinner. You don't get it. This could bury us. Riley's eyes flashed. I get it plenty. Lost my brother to conversion camp bullshit. But pushing me away? That's the real bury. Silence stretched, raw. Alex apologized in the rain-slicked street, words pouring. Fears of loss, of becoming Elias, loving fiercely, losing harder. Forgive, Alex whispered. Riley's smile, tentative. Always. But talk, don't wall. Growth stung, but rooted deep. Therapy followed, group for queer families, where Alex unpacked generational trauma. Riley shared dive-born calm. Climax loomed at the trial's end. Voss crumbled on stand, recordings surfacing, rants against fags ruining history. Gavel fell, dismissed, restraining order slapped. Cheers erupted, but Alex's victory tasted bittersweet. Evie confided a health scare. Cancer, stage 2. The family rallied. Lydia organized care rotations. Nathan flew in with Polish remedies. Mark, surprising all, handled bills. Family does that. Alex and Riley drove her to chemo, holding hands in sterile weights, her sketches of them adorning walls. My foundlings. In remission's glow, Evie gifted a mural commission for the house. Wall-sized, lighthouse beaming through storm, figures diverse, hands linked. Unveiling drew crowds, Voss a distant shadow. Yet, a personal high wire. Alex's grad acceptance to Columbia. New York calling, Riley's work anchored here. Long distance. Riley asked, voice small. Alex hesitated, then, or we go together. Your research, East Coast sites abound. Decision made, boxes packed. Last night in the attic, key in hand, Alex locked the trunk. Not seal, but pause. Rest now, Grandpa. Farewell party brimmed, Daniel toasting. To loves that echo. Evie pulled Alex aside. Jack would adore you, brave heart. Riley's gift, a custom dive knife, engraved unlocked depths. Their goodbye to the bay was sunset-kissed, ferry slicing waves. New York thrummed, brownstones, bagels, queer balls in Brooklyn. Alex thrived in lit classes, dissecting Baldwin. Riley consulted on Hudson Rex. But distance from roots tugged. Holidays virtual, Evie's updates cherished. Twist struck spring, a letter from Seattle, Mark's hand. DNA test, for curiosity. Results, Nathan's your uncle, true. But Evie? Half-sister to me. Your aunt, blood. Laughter, tears. Mark, whole at last. The call bridged miles, voices overlapping joy. Evie. Jack's legacy, scattered, then gathered. Summer brought reunion at the lighthouse, full circle. Waves gentler, seals playful. They buried a time capsule, letters, sketches, the key for future kin. As stars pricked velvet sky, Alex leaned into Riley. Found more than truths. Riley's whisper, found home. New York's pulse quickened Alex's step, subways rumbling like unmet promises. Columbia's quad buzzed with debates on identity politics, Alex's thesis brewing, closeted canons, queer subtexts in mid-century American lit. Professors nodded at his Harper Archive citations, unaware the archive was blood-soaked. Riley adapted, his freelance gigs expanding to shipwreck docs for Nat Geo, narrating tales of lost souls at sea, voice steady as anchor. Their Harlem walk-up became sanctuary, bookshelves groaning with queer manifestos, Riley's conch shells glinting on sills. Mornings, coffee brewed strong, they'd plan weekend escapes to Fire Island, where sand met skin freely. But shadows lingered. Evie's cancer watch loomed. Weekly calls tracked scans, her humorous shield, beats fading into wallpaper. Lydia mothered from afar, shipping care packages of sourdough and socks. Nathan's visits bridged coasts, his law firm pro bono for queer nonprofits. Personal friction arose subtle. Alex's late nights pouring texts clashed with Riley's early dives. Arguments over dishes. You bury in books, I surface. Resentment simmered, unspoken. Alex's fear of engulfment, Riley's of abandonment. Catalyst came via email. A conference in San Francisco. Queer histories unearthed. Alex invited Riley. He demurred, grant deadline looming. Go solo, reconnect roots. The flight west stirred nostalgia, fog blanketing the bridge like old friend. The panel was electric, scholars dissecting lavender scare files, Alex presenting on Elias's coded diaries. Q&A turned personal. How does family secrecy shape modern queer resilience? Words flowed. It forges us, wary but unbreakable. Applause, then a face in the crowd. Theo's photo twin, older, Theo Lang Jr., Nathan's half-brother, unknown till now. Post-talk drinks at a hate bar, Theo Jr. approached. Dad mentioned you. Never knew the full story. Thought his melancholy was war. Over IPAs, revelations. Theo Sr.'s double life. Loving Elias while raising sons apart. He left me his ring. Inside, E engraved. Kept it hidden. Alex's mind reeled. Another thread. Join us. The family's expanding. Theo Jr. hesitated. Out but closeted at his conservative firm. Maybe. Takes time. Back east, Alex shared, Riley listening rapt. See? Secrets spawn more, but we unravel. Intimacy reignited that night. Gentle explorations born of vulnerability. I love you. Alex breathed, first utterance. Riley's reply. Knew it. Love you fiercer. Summer heat baked the city, but a chill arrived. Vasa's appeal, dragging names through mud. Subpoenas for the trunk contents, claims of fabricated evidence. Alex's advisor warned, thesis tainted if litigated. Stress fractured sleep. Alex dreamed of locked rooms flooding. Riley suggested a break. Road trip upstate, Catskills cabins. There, amid leaf-choked trails, they hiked to Cotterskill Falls, mist-veiling confessions. You're pulling away, Riley said, pausing at the gorge edge. Alex sighed. Scared. What if the fight wins? Elias lost everything. Riley turned him, eyes fierce. We won't. You're not him. We've got allies, each other. The embrace there, waterfall roaring approval, mended rifts. Back in Harlem, they hosted a Roots night, Zoom with family, Theo Jr. debuting shyly. Laughter bridged pixels, Evie sketching live. A tapestry, threads wild. Fall brought harvest. Alex's thesis draft submitted, Riley's doc greenlit. But Evie's skin darkened, recurrence aggressive. The call shattered brunch, come west. Now. They flew, landing in fog-wreathed SFO. Evie's loft, once vibrant, dimmed, easels dust gathered. She rallied for them, voice whiskey rough, don't mope. Paint with me. Days blurred in hospice hues. Alex reading Jack's letters aloud. Riley diving local for treasures, a pearl strung for her neck. Family converged. Lydia's stews, Nathan's legal pads for end-of-life wishes, Mark's quiet guitar strums, Theo Jr.'s tentative stories. One evening, Evie pulled Alex close. Jack's girl, proud. You unlocked us all. Her passing came gentle, moon-high, hand in his. Grief tsunami, but in waves. Funeral at the lighthouse. Ashes to sea with Jack's. Eulogies wove. Evie the bridge. Back east, hollow echoed. Riley anchored. Therapy sessions unpacking loss. She lived loud, model that. Climax personal. Voss's case collapsed, his own fraud exposed, embezzling from heritage funds. Jail loomed, his empire dust. Alex testified remotely, voice steel. Justice isn't revenge, it's light. Winter blanketed Central Park, skates carving joy. Alex proposed. Not ring, but key replica. Unlock forever? Riley's yes, tears freezing on lashes. Spring bloomed weddings. They's, small, at the Victorian, now museum. Vows under the mural, in shadows and sun. But twist lingered, a letter from Theo Jr., post-ceremony. Found this in Dad's safe, Elias's last, to him. If a grandson comes, tell him, love isn't hidden, it's the map. Map. Alex traced it, Riley beside. Where to next? Everywhere. Years unfurled, children adopted, a boy and girl, stories bedtime. Your great-grandpa's key. Prejudice met head-on, in PDAs and parks. The room? Open to all, truths free. In quiet moments, Alex whispered to ghosts, we did it. The adoption papers crinkled under Alex's fingers in the Harlem courtroom. Judge Ramirez's gavel a punctuation of promise. Luca, 5, fidgeted in his too-big suit, brown curls wild. Mia, 3, clutched Riley's tie like a lifeline. Family, the word official, bloomed in Alex's chest, fierce, fragile. Parenting upended rhythms, sleepless nights to lullabies, daycare runs amid thesis revisions. Columbia tenure track beckoned, but Alex negotiated hybrid, family first. Riley's doc streamed, narrating from home office, Luca assisting with toy boats. San Francisco polls persisted, holidays at the house, now thriving heritage site. Tours echoed with gasps at the trunk, like Outlander, but real. Lydia, docent queen, regaled with anecdotes. Mark, retired, tended gardens, roses for each lost love. Evie's absence ached, but her art lived. Galleries hosting retrospectives, proceeds to queer youth shelters. Theo Jr. came out fully, firm be damned, partnering with Nathan on estates for outcasts. Domestic bliss cracked subtly. Luca's preschool flagged behavior, fistfights defending a classmate's 2 moms. Alex and Riley navigated, books on allyship stacked high. He's us, Riley said, bandaging a scraped knee. Protector. Mia, quieter, drew endless lighthouses for the sad man. Bedtime rituals included Elias tales, sanitized for tiny ears. Grandpa found a magic key to friends' hearts. Conflict brewed external. A developer, Voss's cousin, eyed adjacent lots, modernized the queer ghetto. Petitions flew, Alex spearheading, op-eds in the Cron. History isn't disposable. Protests marshaled, Rainbow marched to City Hall, Luca on shoulders chanting. But backlash bit, hate mail, slashed tires. One night, brick through window, scrawled keep it straight. Fear coiled. Riley insisted security cams. Alex pushed therapy, family sessions unpacking inherited vigilance. Elias's world, he murmured. Not ours. Luca overheard, wide-eyed. Bad guys hate love. Riley knelt. Some do. But we love louder. The internal storm hit harder. Alex's book deal, Key to the Closet, a queer American saga, deadline loomed, words evading amid diapers. Late one night, laptop glaring, Riley found him slumped. You're drowning. Can't fail them. Or him. Elias's ghost, perfectionist. Riley closed the screen. Breathe. We're enough. Intimacy faltered, touches sibling-like, exhaustion's toll. Date night at a jazz club. First in months, sparked reconnection, slow dances whispering futures. Twist arrived via mail. Unmarked envelope, Seattle Post. Inside, a birth certificate, 1947, Mother Margaret, Father blank. But notation, acknowledged by EH. A sibling to Mark? Alex's aunt or uncle, hidden deeper. Lydia's voice trembled over phone. Miscarriage, she said. But Elias confessed once, after drinks. A boy given up. For his safety. The boy, Samuel Sam Whitaker, 78, in Eugene, Oregon, Professor Emeritus, Queer Studies. Alex's email, Uncle? The key led here. Reply. Nephew. Time's overdue. Oregon's Willamette Valley greened welcoming. Sam's rancher home book-lined. Cats purring. He resembled Elias. Tall, thoughtful, glasses perched. Born when Dad was 25, pre-Jack Foley. Margaret wanted out. He chose adoption to shield from scandal. Sam's life, foster drifts, coming out in 60s communes, academia haven. Knew of you. Elias's letters, yearly updates. My boy's boy fights the good fight. Over pie, stories cascaded. Elias's visits incognito. Uncle Ed, bringing comics. He cried once. Wish I could claim you. Blood drawn for confirmation, but heart knew. Sam joined the fold. FaceTimes with kids. Great Uncle Sam, teller of tall tales. The book surged, Sam's anecdotes weaving chapters. Publisher raves, bestseller potential. But climax external, developers hearing, packed chamber. Alex testified, Sam beside. This land holds loves, not lots. Voskin sneered, but council voted preserve, cheers thundering. Home front high wire. Luca's questions deepened, why no mommy? Honest talks. Books like Heather Has Two Mommies evolved to Families Are Forever. Riley's vulnerability peaked during a dive sim in the Hudson. Claustrophobia flashback to a wreck entrapment. Alex pulled him up, gasping. You're my heir. Love renewed. They renewed vows. Vow renewal at Fire Island Beach. Kids scattering petals, family toasting. Yet, surprise lingered. Sam's attic yield. A reel-to-reel tape, Elias's voice. For Sam. If he finds this, I loved wrong, by their rules. But right by heart. Forgive the silence. Played at reunion. Tears flowed. Mark, brother. Welcome. The family, mosaic complete, scars gold-veined. Years later, Luca's bar mitzvah, Riley's Jewish roots honored. Alex's book Oprah endorsed, shelves groaning. Mia's art echoed Evie's, lighthouses eternal. In quiet, Alex to Riley. He opened worlds. Riley, ours the best. Decades turn brought silver threads to Alex's temples. Luca's lanky teen frame, topping his dad's. The Harlem brownstone expanded. Third floor Reno for Sam's visits. Walls, Evie's murals cloned. Columbia chair now. Alex mentored queer scholars. Key, syllabus staple. Riley's series, Sunken Loves. Emmy-nominated. Episodes on wartime wrecks. Queer sailors' ghosts. Fatherhood evolved. Luca's soccer games, Mia's violin recitals, debates over screen time laced with Elias ethics. San Francisco anchored holidays, the house a pilgrimage site, school groups touring, Mr. Harper, odd whispers. Lydia, spry at 70, led with flair. Mark, her steady, garden still. Sam integrated deep, co-authoring Alex's sequel. Echoes, unlocked. Tours sold out. Proceeds to Trevor Project. Theo Jr.'s firm. Rebranded inclusive. His wedding to partner a Castro bash. Friction familial. Luca, 16, rebelled. You're legends. I'm just me. Crushes on boys, girls, fluid, fierce. Alex's advice, listen inside. But teen storms raged, groundings over parties. Riley mediated, his comma buoy. We were you. Messy, magic. External threat. National wave, heritage purity bill, curtailing LGBTQ plus site funds. Voss, paroled, lobbied, face gaunt. Correct the record. Alex rallied. Coalition with Sam, petitions to Congress. DC trip, kids in tow, Capitol echoing chants. Luca, wide-eyed. Like Grandpa's fight. Bigger. Yours too. Testimony gripped. Erase us, erase America. Diverse, defiant. Bill stalled, but scars. Hate spikes, schoolyard slurs for Mia. Home healed. Family therapy. Bonfires sharing what-ifs. Luca's essay, College App, My Dad's Key Unlocked My Voice. Climax personal, Riley's diagnosis, early Parkinson's, genetic quirk from Dive's pressures, tremors faint, but fear roared. Alex's world tilted, nights researching trials, days masking terror. We'll fight, he vowed, echoing Elias. Riley, pragmatic, together, adapt like waves. Kids rallied, Luca cooking, burnt edges endearing, Mia's playlist soothing. Sam visited, tales of Theo's resilience, love steadies. Twist medical, experimental trial, Riley selected, NYU pioneer. Injections, scans, hope fragile. Through it, their bond deepened. Walk slower, hands clasped tight. Date nights adapted, park benches, stars witnesses. Book tour climaxed in SFO, Elias's centennial lighthouse vigil. Thousands, torches flickering. Alex spoke. From one key, a movement. Riley, voice steady. Our story, unending. Post-vigil, private. On the cliff, Riley knelt. Not proposal, but pledge. Whatever comes, my anchor. Alex, always. Years flowed. Riley's mobility aid stylish. Dives vicarious via Luca's certification. Mia's Yale art major. Theses on queer abstraction. Evie proud. Luca's wedding, 25, to non-binary partner. Rainbow arch, family vows, keys passed. Grandkids arrived. Twin boys, Harper Kane legacy. Bedtimes, great-great-grandpa's adventure. Vasa's end, obituary, alone, his hate a hollow echo. Alex's 60th, book 3 launching, generations unlocked. Party at the house, full circle, Lydia dancing, Mark toasting, Sam reciting poems. In attic twilight, Alex held the key, polished now. Thank you. Downstairs, laughter rose. Riley's hand in his, ready for more? Endlessly. The truths, once hidden, now horizon, vast, inviting. Love, the ultimate unlock.